All right, movement of the people, Exodus. It's another week, and happy to be here, and happy all y'all are here. That's right. I'm Mazvita Maraire. This is Seattle Sports Weekly, and can I say, got a big show today. We always do, but this one's jam packed. And as I said before, we're just gonna keep going with the pace, and we do have one change as radio always happens. So we've got I have to check something here. Oh, there we go. All right. So what we have here is Peter is handling some family business. All is well, and so we're gonna slide in one of my favorite and my co-host on from Metro Sports Weekly, and yeah, so surprise, surprise, and also to put to rest any any innuendos, rumors that Metro Sports Weekly is gone and there won't be any more shows. It's just been the winter, so we'll get Pat on in a minute, and we'll talk about. There it is. There's the flyer right there, but it's not. Yeah, we're finding out that the winter is really difficult because I got a ref, and then you guys know the hardest. That office just works hard. Metro. So Pat is always along with Tara Davis and Kalani, and they are doing all their thing during basketball season. Not that the other season don't consume it, but that one takes a lot because I think they're in the office and then they have to go and be on site. So it's a full day, and like I said, part of it is really my fault. I've been out reffing games and things like that, and that's always a blast. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the basketball tournament, and when we get a chance here, and we will about the Tacoma Dome. So you got to get out there. Starts tomorrow, but we will, we'll get more into that. But in the meantime, just what I'll set the tone for you, just kind of set the table, if you will, in terms of what we have today. Along with Pat, there is we got a lot. So I keep saying that. Well, I've got John. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to broadcast the 3A Boys and Girls Championship Saturday. We'll get into that more, but there it is. Yeah, D Money. And so we'll talk more about that as well. And we're going to break down the brackets here. I got some questions about certain teams and things like that. So, but in terms of the Seahawks break down in the second half, if you will. We've got John Schneider, believe at the combine, and this morning. So I put together, sliced up some stuff from the TV. So it's good, but it's not the best. I'm not at the combine, but so we'll hear kind of what he had to say, because part of what happens with the combine, which starts the 29th, is the general managers and the coaches all some coaches, well, coaches can attend, and I've got two length videos for you. One, really, John Schneider breaks down about this was the pre kind of combine thing, and he says, so you all will see where it says that the 29th, all the players today, the quarterbacks show up, and then the D linemen and all those the players are they get measured, and they kind of get to see what their agility and those kinds of things. But before that, each of the general managers today, Tuesday, meets, they go to the podium and talk with the assembled media, and then they'll do the TV show thing. So that's the first thing that's there. And then, so you hear from John Schneider about that. And, and as I said before, really what I liked about Schneider, he talked about, it's a grind. The whole week is a grind, because not only for the GMs and the players, obviously it's their day and everything else, but for the GMs, they have to go, not only do they do the media tour, then they have to do this whole, go to the meetings. Each of the general managers are, part of a committee, what's a rules committee or something like that. So they have those meetings going on. And as I mentioned, like at the Super Bowl, when I was down there, is there's a lot of other things that lead up to that game. And in this one, there's a lot of meetings and that has to happen from the league perspective, along with then the GMs are hearing from agents, either potential players, agents. They're also hearing from their own agents agents that represent their players. So you've got all of that going on. And look, it wasn't the war's me type of thing, but it was really more in terms of this is what happens at the GM and the combine and those kind of things. And Schneider was saying, hey, you know what? This is what it is. So without, going on and on and on, I'm just going to bring him on. As I said, we want to make sure people understand the Metro Sports Weekly is not dead. It's just been the scheduling thing, and we'll get back to it after the Tacoma Dome. There's the flyer to prove it. And I'm going to bring in Pat McCarthy so you all can see that he's alive and well, and he's just doing, as I said, him and his staff are just busy. So, Pat, are you in?
Yeah, Maz. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, man, you're perfect.
Okay, great. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. So I'm glad I thought of the idea. Let's do a little Metro Sports Weekly leading up to the Tacoma Dome starting tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We're right on the doorstep, aren't we?
Oh, man. And, we'll talk the brackets and things like that. I had a question, about West Seattle. It's interesting. When I looked at the brackets, we can answer that. But how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good, Maz. It's been a busy year, but everything's going well. And so good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's good to be seen. I think we're at that age, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
we don't need to talk more about that, though.
No, we better stop right there. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there Thursday, definitely.
In Tacoma?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah,
all day and everything else. Should I? Yeah, it's been. Let's talk Metro if you don't mind, just for a second.
Well, you were going to ask me something about West Seattle. Is that?
Yeah, well, I mean that's part. I mean, I thought they ended up when I looked at the brackets, West Seattle ends up. I thought they ended up 9th, right? So they played Lincoln in a loser out game.
Yes.
And I thought at Bellevue, didn't they beat?
No, they lost to Lincoln in a close game. It was Lincoln got up by quite a bit, and West Seattle battled back in the fourth quarter to actually, I think, take the lead, but they just couldn't hang on, and it was a close game the rest of the way, but they came out on the short end of it.
Yeah, I was thinking before they played Lincoln, I thought they would have got a higher seeding. Didn't they do well in, I got to get it all straight, right? The districts, didn't they really?
Yes. Yeah, they made it to our district championship game, and and so they finished second in districts, but then it goes to a seeding committee, and there's a member of each league in the seeding committee, and they have to decide the rankings of teams, 1 through 20. And so, with Metro, we have 5 teams, and so they have to rank teams and seed them so that the rankings. Nobody ever agrees with the rankings, but the rankings are what they are. So when they finish it,
I'm pretty sure we know that's not only on the high school level, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty soon when we got the NCAA tournament, you're going to see the same things. People are unhappy with where they're seated, but it's a tough job, but they landed on where they did, and now we're playing the games.
Okay, great explanation, because that was the thing, because I did see that game there.
Yeah, it was a really good game. Again, Lincoln jumped out by quite a bit. I think they had double-digit lead, but West Seattle was a great team this year. They had a lot of tenacity, and they just kept battling, and they got back in it, and they did take the lead. So they were a good team.
I had them 3 times. So some of this, you and I will talk about things from a different perspective, right? I can tell
Hmm.
you on the court. No, they were awesome. They had
Yeah.
a kid on. They had probably look, all the teams are great and all the kids are there, so they're amazing. But some just from my perspective stand out for whatever reason. But yeah, they had 3 kids that really, that stood out with personality. I had to tee up one of the kids, and I'll tell you the story. And I forget his name. I should know it, but he's an amazing kid. Really, we nominated him for actually one of the players.
Hmm.
God, number 2. I can just see him right now. Just great athlete and a captain, amazing kid. And so he's the one we'd go talk to. Hey, get your team together. Friendly. It was a good lesson for him to learn about boundaries. So I made this call, and he goes, "Wait, what? Come on, dude! What kind of call is that?" And I felt bad because he was really in that relationship of that we had established, but you can't really, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
say that. And so, anyways, I enjoyed all, I don't know, there's any team I didn't enjoy by the way, but
Hmm.
they stuck out. But Metro was very odd this year, would you say, just in terms of, and I mean odd in a good way. They were, I mean, West Seattle stands out as one. It was just all compacted. You didn't know who was going to win what, right?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was very competitive this year, Moz, and we had the 2 divisions this year with a top division. Both divisions within themselves were very, very competitive, and it seemed like any given night anybody could beat anybody. So I just thought it was really, really good. So
And the girls were somewhat, and just because you had the 2, Lakeside and Garfield, and we'll break that down, and they've got a chance to meet again. But
right.
I thought they were pretty competitive, as for the most part. Not as the boys, but your top 4 teams seemed to be quite competitive. Your back end, their ballad was building. They were undefeated in one division, and then it was tough for them. But I thought the girls was competitive as well, Pat.
Yeah, it was, and you're right, Maz. I think Garfield and Lakeside, at least to this point, have seemed to separate themselves from everybody else. There's a little gap between them and the other teams, and you're kind of seeing that based on the results now because they're the 2 teams that are left. They both have buys in the state tournament, so they're probably where they are, where they belong. Um, and they are gonna, if they both win, they're gonna face each other again in the semifinals. So, but you have to face the good teams at some point anyway. So
Yeah, and I know you know it, but I will scroll through and let everybody know about that game. Potentially, shoot, there it is. Yeah, so potentially, uh, D-Money. Yeah, there it is. So Lake Washington surprised me as well, right? So Lake Washington plays number 8 North Thurston, and the winner plays number 2 Lakeside, right?
right, right,
And
yeah.
so
And Lake Washington has been is in our district, and they've been a very, very good girls basketball team last few years. They've been in the state final with Garfield the last couple of years. So, them seeing them do well isn't a surprise right now.
yeah, and it's a good program, good coach. Again, all these coaches are good, but I'm only gonna talk about the ones that I've kind of, you know, not slighting. It's just the ones that I've ran into. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
all y'all listening, it's not a slight, but and then as we talked about, Auburn number 4 and Everett, and that winner will play Garfield. And as you mentioned, those
Yeah.
2, as D Money has up there. Um, have you seen the Auburn team?
No, not yet. We'll see them, obviously at the state tournament. So, but I'm sure Maz, all the teams that are left are pretty good teams. So, they're either, district champions or have done well in district tournaments and have advanced. So, all the teams here, I think, are usually pretty good.
And they've got their programs that great coaches that have brought up these players, to your point, like Washington, obviously against Garfield in the state championship a few times. So
Hmm.
I think it's no surprise they're here, correct?
No, not a surprise at all. And the teams that are here deserve to be here. They've won and they've earned their right to be here. So now they got a test to see how well they can do and how far they can advance.
I was one game that I cringed a little bit, right? Was the Snohomish at Garfield on the 23rd. I was like, oh boy, because Garfield
Hmm.
had to go up to Arlington to play
Yes.
that game. And they pulled it off.
Well,
46
Garfield went up to Snohomish, right?
Snohomish. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Just Arlington High. Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, you're
Yeah,
gonna know.
and again, the seeding committee had those two teams, the 3 and the 6 seeds, so pretty close. You knew it was going to be a close game wherever it was going to be played. So
Man, yeah. When they got, that was a good road win, so to speak, right?
very, very good. It's not easy to play on the road at people's houses and stuff. So that's a great win.
And then yeah, and Snohomish is alive and well. I did the Kennewick and Snohomish game when it will play Arlington. And I did actually I your our great assigner threw me a bone. So I did Arlington District up there. So I saw them play. So that's a good team as well. But Meade is number one in the girls.
Yes, they've been number one, I think, most of the year.
Okay, I know they don't.
So,
I haven't seen. I don't know play in the Metro, obviously, but that there's a potential there. So yeah, so actually the seeding works well for number one Meade because, as we said, 6-2. Again, why it ends up that Meade, the higher seed is, yeah, they're number one. So number one got number three in their bracket, and off they go. Right? You know more about this stuff, and then it looks like in the lower bracket, I mean, number two, number six, number four were in the lower one. Is that correct?
yeah, so it really depends on who's won and who's lost in those early rounds, and that they get placed. And so if there's upsets and stuff, that sometimes that can kind of throw off brackets. But yeah, they've got brackets, and where teams win, they move. And Arlington, Meade, Garfield, and Lakeside, they all have byes. So they play Thursday. On Wednesday, those are games. There's 4 games, and those are all loser out games, and so those are big games as well.
Oh, I bet. I wish I could have made it on Wednesday because man, oh man,
Yep.
that's
Yeah,
that the Hoosier story, right? I mean,
exactly. Those are loser out games. So people are, teams will be scratching and fighting for every last basket there.
and I've talked to fans and fellow officials and and just friends, and it's like there's just an excitement about about the state. I think Wednesday exemplifies that, but it is you got teams from all over, and there's just a nostalgic feel to it. Is that fair to say that?
I think so, Maz. It's a time right now. We haven't played any games yet in the state tournament in Tacoma yet. So everybody has aspirations of a state tournament championship right now, right? Until games start to be played, everybody has that dream. And so that's kind of a neat thing. And those dreams are all around the state because the teams are coming from all around the state. And it's kind of exciting because you get to play teams that you haven't seen before. You don't know what a Meade looks like, because they're not in our area. So it's kind of fun.
And flashback to when the last time they played, COVID hit. I know we played since then, but it's just to remember how for a minute there this wasn't available. It just
You're
seems
right.
like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it lends to a lot of appreciation to what we have, right? Because it was taken away, and we know what that was like. So we have a lot of appreciation to be able to play these games now and so forth. So.
Well, let's take a look at the boys a little bit. I know we talked about them, the defending champion. So Wednesday, right? So that I'm trying to, Lake Washington got both teams in there. Wait, am I looking?
No,
Nope. I'm in the girls. Let me get up to the boys, sir. And the state, you all, I know you're part of this, but WIA does a really good job. I downloaded their bracket. D Money's got that one, but their little media packet they put out is pretty, it's well done. And wait, before I know I'm stopping mid-sentence, but a shout out to the Metro League Athletic website. Yes, that's a home run. That is a home run, Pat. Oh,
all
man.
Right. Yeah, we just upgraded it there, Maz. So
upgraded it. It's big time. I mean, I know the staff, fantastic. It is so. There it is, D Money. It's clear. You can scroll through, get the information. It's. I know Stephanie Perez was saying, the other one was clunky was her word, and then I don't know what y'all did, but it's.
Hey, wait. Let's go back up there for a sec. Who is that right there?
That's Manny. That's Manny.
Is that Manny?
Yeah. No, it's whew.
There he is.
There he is.
Yeah, and we should tell our listeners we're always looking for officials. So.
Yeah, no.
And I think we have a little blurb on our website about it. So
you do. And as I don't know, I'll tell as an official 3-year board member for the PNBOA. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, we need officials, and understand you all that there's training that happens with it. You just don't get put into the fray, and so there's free training, and then you really pick your schedule, and you're giving back, and the camaraderie that's there. There's all the stuff that's there, obviously, in terms of the fans and parents, and any competitive nature is going to be there. But I'll tell you, the great thing about officials interaction is when you're between those lines, interaction with those kids, whether it's middle school and the high school kids, and when you've refed, there's people that have refed way longer than me. Casey, you know what I'm saying, Rod Marr a little bit, but I don't mind. I went to Garfield senior night, and we refed that, Kenny Jackson, myself, and when you get done with the game and the players come up to you, to all of us, the crew, and say thank you for being here for the senior night. You know what I mean? You stop for a second, you say, oh yeah, that parent yelling travel, can't you see, is all forgotten because of that moment.
Right.
It's really rewarding is what I'm trying to get at. I know there's horror stories in there, and they should be told, but it's amazing. What a way to give back. So
I agree, Maz.
Now, so on the boys, to the 3A here. What thoughts there in terms of what you're,
Well, we have 4 teams in there, Maz. We've got Garfield, O'Day, Rainier Beach, and Eastside Catholic, and all 4 teams are very, very good, I think. And it's demonstrated by our league play. I think all of those teams have, at least at one point this season, beat each other. And so that, I think, shares the competitiveness and, how close these teams are and ability and stuff. So, and I know that in the tournament, we've got some perennial state tournament teams in there, like Mount Lake Terrace and Auburn and Mount Spokane. Those are all good teams too, Maz. And so I really think that this is pretty open, but I like our teams. Our teams, I think, are pretty battle tested, and they're pretty good. So now Garfield's playing Arlington on Wednesday, and Beach is playing North Thurston. Those games are in the morning, and I'm sure they'd love to have people come out and cheer for them. So,
yeah, no doubt. And then, of course, heck, you stick around and see that Todd Beamer. Look, the thing about the Tacoma Dome is you got to make a day of it, right? So, and after that Beach and the Beach game, it looks like Todd Beamer and like Montlake Terrace play. Auburn #1, yet they're playing number 17 Lincoln.
Yeah, Auburn was upset on the regional weekend by North Central, so that's why they're playing Wednesday. Lincoln won their game, so those two are matched up against each other. So there are great matchups. You know, Montlake Terrace lost to O'Day, so in a very, very good game. I saw that game. So Montlake Terrace is playing Wednesday, and O'Day gets the bye and plays on Thursday. So that's kind of how that works. So
Mount Spokane plays that winner of the Todd Beamer Montlake Terrace, and Mount Spokane's been around for a minute, right?
Yeah, they've been at the state tournament the last several years, you know, and they played Garfield on Saturday at the regional tournament and beat Garfield.
Yes.
You know, and they played very, very well. So they are definitely a team to look out for, you know, but I'm sure our teams will be ready for them, you know, when it comes down to, you know, the big game. So
you remind me of the commissioners that go on TV and they're like, okay, let's talk about the selection committee, and each one is kind of real professional, but in the end they'll go, but our conference is our teams will be ready.
Yep. I'm confident in that, Maz, because well, you know, you just look at it all year long. These guys have been playing big games, you know, each other. You know, Garfield, Rainier Beach played twice. They've all played each other in the regular season, and again, they probably played each other again in the postseason. So, you know, I just know that they played each other in some competitive games, and they will be ready for it. So,
yeah, to your point, they were ready all season, and us as officials were like, man, I mean, those games,
they're intense. There's a lot of intensity for all levels, for officials, for, you know, fans are chomping at the bit too, because they're close games. You know,
there were some amazing attended games. You know, I mean, it was gyms were packed. So, all right, Pat, I know you got to go, and we got to go on break. So, we'll see you Thursday over there in Tacoma.
Yep. I'll be down at the state tournament all days, Wednesday through Saturday. So, looking forward to seeing you.
All right, Pat. Thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So there we go.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Do you have an idea for a community project in your neighborhood? You could be eligible for up to $50,000 in funding through the City of Seattle's Neighborhood Matching Fund. Grants are awarded to grassroots projects that build stronger communities, with an emphasis on projects led by impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color BIPOC communities. To learn more about the Neighborhood Matching Fund or to see if your project meets the criteria, visit seattle.gov/neighborhoods/NMF.
Mga kaibigan, ito po si Kuya Bert Kawili.
And this is Miles Salvador from Australia.
And I'm Norb Kawili, also known as Norbcam.
Kung gusto niyo po ang latest news and events from the Philippines at the local Filipino community, Phil-Am Radio po.
We play Filipino music and interview guests from all around the world.
And I'll keep you updated on the latest Seahawks and sports news.
Kaya always tune in, Phil-Am Radio, every Tuesday, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
And in YouTube and Facebook. Salamat po.
Hey, this is Paul Pearson. I've hosted the R&B show Star Time since the very beginning of Rainier Avenue Radio. And after years of featuring tracks from the 50s through the 80s, StarTime now plays R&B and hip-hop from the 1990s as well. A whole half-century of soul, funk, hip-hop, and more on StarTime, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Celebrate Black History Month at the Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum, formerly Columbia City Theater, 4916 Rainier Avenue South. Call to Conscience Black History Month Museum features exhibits and installations. It's a guided tour.
Installations include the Seattle Black Panther Party, the Black Heritage Society of Washington, the Rainier Cinema Black Movie Posters Collection, the Hartsfield Family Enslaved Quilt Collection, Revere X-Har, Negro League Baseball's Seattle Steelheads, NAACP Washington, Alaska, and Oregon, Giselle's Famous Chicken, Nasty Mix Records, Sir Mix-a-Lot, South Seattle Emerald, the Museum of History and Industry, Community Keepsakes and Memorabilia, the Total Experience Gospel Choir and Pat Wright, the Black Prisoners Caucus, a display from the Tacoma Buffalo Soldiers Museum.
Tuesdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. 7 p.m. There will be no other location where you can celebrate the achievements and the achievers of the Pacific Northwest and Seattle while recognizing the Black excellence that shines today. For more information, visit RainierAvenueRadio.org or call 206-290-9685.
Rainier Avenue Radio. Rainier Avenue Radio.
All right, we are back. Seattle Sports Weekly and Mazvita Maraire. So there you go. You heard Pat McCarthy, the executive director of Metro League Athletics, and we're talking about the upcoming 3A and 4A boys and girls tournament in the Tacoma Dome, and that starts tomorrow. But so get out there if you can, and if you can't make all 3 days, definitely get in a couple the next few days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, you can stay home because we are going to broadcast the 3A boys and girls championship Saturday, as I said, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So, save the commute on that night. And then, the next couple days there, next couple nights, get out there because that's when it's really exciting. Not that the championship game isn't exciting, but they just offering. I'm trying to kind of do two things at once. They plug in the Saturday game as well, Saturday games, as well as have you save some gas or something. Yeah, there you go. But in all seriousness, get out there if you can. It's worth the drive. It really is. And as we talked about with Pat, just the innocence, and the competitiveness and the cultural mix of a state tournament is always amazing. So there you go. A lot of things going to switch around. We're still going to break down the Sounders. And, if we say we're going to do that, then we're going to do that. As I said, we'll have to talk with Peter Hattrup next week because the Sounders play this Saturday, the home opener. And so that should be exciting. But before we get into that, we'll look back and I'll break down a couple things for you in terms of the game and what happened and how they can move on. But one of the things I want to do here is and then we'll talk about, we'll do the John Schneider at the end, kind of the combine today from the combine. But the Seattle Reign is one of, and I said we'd cover them more, and the Seattle Reign unveiled their reflection kit today. So here is, get this, the Seattle Reign has a new kit. And so here is the little 41 second for you to take a look at the new Seattle Reign. And now they won't start for about 3 weeks, but we got to build.
This is my time, my day, my hour. This is my time, my day, my hour. This is my time, my day, my hour. This is my power. This is my new era, new king. Bow down, kiss the ring. Yeah, it's my time, my day, my hour. This is my power. This is my.
There you go. That is the new Seattle Rain kit. So, Sounders got a new kit as well. That's one of the things now. And I know that a lot of different teams, are doing that now. Soccer always had it. And they're kind of, I think the first ones really to start this multiple kits. Sure, it's part of the marketing. And sure, it's part of the front office, branding, team branding, if you will. And English Premier Leagues did that quite a bit to where, Manchester United, if you will, they would be red. And then they might have had the white away kit. And then they kind of had an alternate kit. So you're seeing that now. You see it now football as well in the NFL. And college sports are doing it with the blackout uniforms. So it's in the DNA now to make sure to promote a third kit or a new kit. Now the Sounders have theirs where they celebrate the 50 years of the existence. This is the 50th anniversary of the Seattle Sounders. So they've got new kits and they rebranded their logo. And you kind of see that when I go and show you the breakdown of the film. But it's all about marketing. It's building excitement. It's, getting butts in the seats, and it's, generating revenue. So it's not a bad thing, none whatsoever, but just an update there. And as I said, we're going to bring you more and more rain. We just added them to what we're doing now. So in terms of, what we cover. So, all right. So with that, we're going to go to, there we go. Let me get my notes here. So the Sounders opened up against LAFC last week. And Sounders were missing 4 players. And that's part of the, they were missing, there we go. All right. So they were missing goalkeeper Stephen Fry. They were missing João Paulo, who's their defensive midfielder, and that's real critical in soccer because he's that link up between the back line and the midfielders. So he's, kind of like a linebacker. He's stopping that, that initial attack. Your forwards kind of do that, but really it's that midfielder that's there, the holding midfielder. And he's also holding in terms of once you get the ball. Once, let's say, the back line gets the ball when the Sounders are playing out, that's who they're looking for. And that's why they call him the holding midfielder. Also, as I said, so Stefan Fry was missing. Yamar was missing in the back line. João Paulo and Albert Rusnik. So that's 4 starters. Rusnik is important because he's the advanced midfielder, right? So you kind of, everything I said about the holding midfielder now kind of applies to the advanced midfielder in Rusnik. Number 8 is what they call them. The soccer numbers, right? So goalkeeper being 1, and then your right back is 2, your left is 3, your 2 center fielders are 4 and 5. And then the holding midfielder, João Paulo, is 6. And then the advanced midfielder is 8, Albert Rusnik. So, and then from there to round it off, 7 is your left wing, 11 is your right wing, and then 9 and 10. 9 is your center forward, and below him, behind him, is the 10, the false 9, false 10 they call him. So, the Sounders, here's my take. Give Brian Smetzer credit for going out there and keeping to his guns. That is the team, in saying, hey, you know what? We like to attack the opposition. We like to full high court press. if you will. And that's what he stuck to his philosophy, regardless of who was in there, which is good for the team later on down the road. But he came out in a 4-4-2 formation. So the goalkeeper, the 4 back line, as I said. Now, going back to the numbers I gave you, what happened was he took the 8 and put him even. So the 6, 7, and then you brought back your 2 midfielders now. So the 4-4-2, and then you had 2 midfielders. So your 10 and the 9, as opposed to playing behind each other, played even. So you brought your 7. So you had your 7, your 6, your 8, and then the 11 were made the second bank of 4. So when you do that, why you do that is to make sure that you clog up the middle. Against a team like LAFC, and you'll see the video, they are the ultra counter-attacking team. They are the example. Go back to Showtime, the transition. The Sounders play transition as well, but the way that nobody plays that counter-attack like LAFC, it really is. Go back to Showtime with Magic Johnson getting the, Michael Cooper getting that ball out. Remember back in the day, and down the road they went, and James Worthy, all that, and 1-2 passes, and the ball was in the back, was for LAFC back of the net. For the Los Angeles Lakers at the height of Showtime, it was in the bucket. So, all right, so let's take a look here, and I'll take you through the good and the bad and the ugly of the Sounders game here.
Turns, giving them a little bit more of that identity of press and go, while Bogusz will play as a false 9, and Rui Diaz comes off his worst MLS season ever with only 5 goals. That's why you see a 4-4-2.
BMO Stadium is rocking in Los Angeles for the opening game of the 2024 MLS regular season for LAFC and the Seattle Sounders. They made it 4 of 5 years.
And I should say that Nathan, they brought him in to take over for Yamar, and also Albert Vargas and Josh Atencio, 2 young players, played in the middle. And so let's take a look here. So one of the things, this is the high press here, and this is Alex Rodin. He was in an advanced position. This is early on in the game, and the Sounders had a chance here
between 2016 and 2020.
And this pass here was the key. And you see Jordan Morris here. You see the triangle we always talk about, but Atencio is going to go here, and it's going to be at Christian Rodin, who's going to make the pass to Morris, and who gets a shot off.
Christian rolled on. It might make it to Jordan Morris. First chance of the match, saved by Hugo Lloris.
It's really unfortunate because at the end of the day, if that pass, it's lucky in that Christian makes the pass and then it's deflected off the defender Jordan Morris. But if Christian was able to thread that pass, one more time, this could be an easy goal for Morris. So we'll see it again. You're going to watch this pass here. He's trying to get it through there, and if he can just thread that needle, obviously Morris has got all that space, but he doesn't. Hits the defender, and it still is on.
Christian rolled on. It might make it to Jordan Morris. First chance of the match, saved by Hugo Lloris. And here come LAFC. Oliveira with Bogusz and Moa.
And this is the lightning attack there by LAFC. That's that Showtime thing. They're galloping down the field here. And fortunately, Barnes is open right here, and he doesn't see him, so he takes the shot.
Oliveira keeping it himself right at Andrew Thomas, end to end at BMO Stadium.
And Andy Thomas is the goalkeeper for Stefan Fry. The young man played pretty well there.
Oliveira joined LAFC middle of last year, showed well. Rui Diaz hitting it from distance. That's easier for Hugo Lloris.
That Father Time has not only knocked open the door, he's run right into the house and said, time is over.
Rui Diaz, it takes a deflection, and it's caught by Lloris.
And Brian Smetzer in that 4-4-2. So Jordan Morris was up there, and then Rui Diaz had to kind of play more of the link between the midfielders and, the front line, which, he played okay, but I'm not sure that's his best position. He's better being the point man where Morris plays.
Christian rolled on, tried to leave it for Rui Diaz.
Figure out. Here goes the counterattack again.
Bouanga in space.
And again,
Bogu.
Go here. Go back. I thought that I don't think Alex Rodan had his best game. He's tracking back here, which is really well. But again, if you take a look at the counterattack here by LAFC, it is showtime. So you're going to spread wide here, take Bouanga in the middle, and then go wide right here.
Bouanga in space. Bogusz in the middle. Looking for Bogusz. Nathan there only as far as Tillman. Right at Andrew Thomas. Javier Arriaga still on this Sounders roster, is on the bench today. Brian Schmetzer going.
Here it is again. Lightning fast. They get the turnover here. And down
with Nathan over Arriaga. This is Bouanga. He is through Thomas up his line. Bouanga's around him. Not able to get the power on it. It is Nathan recovering to clear it off the line.
Bouanga's on the right. He's on the left. Now he's.
Yeah, and again, here you go. You can hear Tyler Twellman talking about it. But Bouanga here, he sits in between both of these. He's sitting in between the two center backs. Classic place there for a forward in soccer because it causes confusion between the two, right? So here it's like, oh, Nathan is going, well, do I have him? He sees that the pass is going to go there, but Nathan has to hold because of this position here, and Alex Rodan can't come back on the sweeper because there's a man there as well.
Through the middle. Nathan's too late to react. He's in an onside position, but how about this recovery? Keeper comes up, Bouanga's by him.
Tillman. At Tuesta. Bouanga with Alex Rodan.
And again, I thought Alex Rodan had one of his didn't have the best of games, but I also think it's what he was asked to do. So here he just doesn't play good defense.
On defending. Bouanga off the crossbar from a narrow angle.
I should note that Bouanga
so dangerous.
led MLS last year.
Well, and he can score goals in a variety of ways. Looking to cut inside because Atencio comes over. He takes Alex Roldan to his left. There's a little bit of a deflection here. Surprising that it's a throw-in.
Atencio, his shot was blocked. Now Rui Diaz.
And again, I think Rui Diaz is playing too far away from.
Atencio, his shot was blocked. Now Rui.
Yeah, he's up here, but he really should be in here. And so why the difference is he has to make all these moves like a midfielder now. And he's a lethal striker. I prefer he is here. This is where Morris is. I think that Morris should be out wide here, and Rui Diaz should find his space there.
Diaz.
See, that's not where you want your striker right there. That is not where you want probably the most prolific, score on the team. He's too far away from the goal.
Chu. Vargas. Rui Diaz. Right into Lloris. Nathan lost it in the sun. Here's Bouanga. Can he get around Nathan? Nathan does well to slow the run right now. Now it's Bouanga. So close once again.
Here we go again. Lightning fast. Get the ball out to the wings. I mean, it's a jailbreak, if you will.
Oliveira now. End-to-end at BMO Stadium. Still Oliveira. Thomas goes down and collects.
Good play by the defenders there, by the Sounders. You notice Jackson Reagan talking to Nuhu there. They did give up the shot, but look, you've got two. You got 5, count 6, right? Against 2. You want those odds.
It's a big reason why Seattle went out and got Nathan. as a center back in depth.
Atuesta to the near post. Ilie flicks it out off the bar. Stayed in play for Bawanga.
He's calling a corner. I mean, that ball deflects off of Ilie. He's got the goalkeeper beat. The whistle's blown here.
To the byline. Omar Campos to the back post. Tillman!
So there you go. That's good. You're going to watch this in terms of, remember before we had more numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, but this is LAFC's attack here. So they're going to take him here, put him out wide there. So that's going to cause Nuhu should have been out there. And then you've got Jackson Reagan, but he's supposed to be calling the shots here. You still have numbers here, but as the play progresses,
has a real good
there. So you still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The issue is this man here, right? And Jackson Reagan is actually calling here and should have marked up here. Josh Atencio could have helped here. Nathan could have stepped up here because what happens is this run here sucks up the space. So does this and opens this up.
Intensity and the ability to advance possession when he needs to.
And this sneaky little run right here by Atuesta that looks innocent, but it occupies this space here and causes confusion in the back.
But it's also the delivery of a quality ball.
Bam. And I came at an unfortunate time because the Sounders had to run a play, but
Bawanga touching forward at Atuesta. Can LAFC get another before halftime? Bawanga. Still Bawanga right at Andrew Thomas, who does well to hold on.
I mean, that's a let-off, if you will, but I'm going to go back and show it to you one more time.
Bawanga.
Look at that. Look at that. Now, this time you have 1, 2, 3, 4 LAFC players just gallivanting down the field.
Touching forward.
And the Sounders have just 1, 2. Now, they're all tracking back, but it's a little late. And
at Atuesta. Can LAFC get another before?
That's a good run right there. Yeah, Obed Vargas, great job of coming back. The kid's 20 years old. He's got speed.
Halftime. Bawanga. Still Bawanga right at Andrew Thomas, who does well to hold on. Murillo sends it forward, and there is the halftime whistle. Timothy Tillman in the 45th minute, giving LAFC a 1-0 lead just before the break. No changes for either team at halftime. The second half underway at BMO Stadium. The Seattle Sounders and LAFC. LAFC leading 1-0.
LAFC came out on the front foot here. I thought the Sounders were a little bit flat. Was just surprised to see that. And the result.
Tillman gets the cross in. Almost made it to Ilie. This is Hollingshead. Over to Bawanga. Bawanga! Cross.
Ouch. You got to look at that again. And part, I mean, that's a great shot, but part of that is
Ilie. This is Hollingshead. Over to Bawanga.
So look. And again, LAFC is crowding the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got 1, 2, 3 here. And then just can't give this guy that much space. He's too good. Especially when he makes this turn. Here, you got to get to there. And this is a late recovery there.
Bawanga! Crossbar again. Third time today for LAFC.
All over, but this ball's whipped in, and it's really a half chance.
Bawanga. Bogusz! Oh, it's in! Mateusz Bogusz!
Called a golazo. Absolutely. And again, it goes back to they just didn't close down here. And you saw that earlier when Bawanga came across here. Kind of almost the same spot, right? He's going to come across here, take that shot.
Bogusz! Oh, it's in! Mateusz Bogusz with a spectacular goal! They hit the woodwork 3 times. The 4th time is the charm. 2-0 LAFC.
as they get to the final third. Look at the overlapping run that pulls Alex Roldan with that run with Campos, and now he can cut back to his right foot. From the moment he set foot in LA, Steve Cherundolo said he could score a goal from anywhere on the field without a number 9. They're putting their best 11 on the field. That means Bogusz plays the 9, and he plays the second goal scorer for LAFC.
And it will be a debut for a young starlet. 23-year-old Pedro De La Vega will enter for the first time for the Seattle Sounders.
Peter was here. This is,
and then taken away
by
by the Sounders.
Can
they get off and running? There's space behind for Jordan Morris. What a ball from Roldan. Morris with long chasing. Morris goes down. No,
as I said, the Sounders have their own
That's
counterattack.
going to be looked
It's
at.
not as fast as LAFC's, but it is a
Penalty for
probably
Seattle.
second best for LAFC.
And a yellow card to Aaron Long.
Here we go.
Yeah, and his first penalty, it's against Hugo Lloris, one of the best goalkeepers of this generation. De La Vega versus Lloris. De La Vega scores. We're still playing. Now it's over. For a 7th straight year, LAFC
So there
opened
you
the
go.
season with a win.
That is exactly-
2-1 over.
That was the deal right there. Just going back, I think the Sounders, again, they're missing a lot of players, but you know what? Give them credit just in terms of the fight. And it's the first game. The last time the two teams played was for the Western Conference quarterfinals, and LAFC beat Seattle again. So got 2 minutes. Let's see if I can get to this John Schneider. And this was Schneider today at the Combine. So you can find out more at 1 minute. Whatever. All right, let's play it. Let's
I was babysitting him, and they were just asking me about that at the podium. It was awesome. That's sensational. Yeah, speed dating. No, it was. We were a little late in the process. Very blessed to be able to speak to Mike and have staff come out. After we interviewed him that Tuesday morning. So my wife Tracy and I were able to spend some quality time with those guys, and then able to have them in the building and see like all the horsepower we have in the building and experience that. And I know you guys probably know him a little bit better than I do, or you did earlier, but I would say like the clarity, the intelligence, the maturity really stands out when you're talking to him and communicating with him. So really excited to get going. Really, really pleased with the staff that he's put together and watching his process. Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit right through the interview process, and he knows our team well, but he's still trying to get to know our team. With the new staff that are actually back, putting their processes in and this week and getting to know our team a little bit better. And like you guys know how this week goes, you're constantly trying to figure out what the landscape's going to look like, for the off season, whether that's talking to agents, talking to other clubs, everything like that. So when we get back, we'll have more clarity on what kind of alignment we have, with the coaches and how we feel like our off season is going to be going. With all those guys just getting back together. But I have found myself a couple times like, oh, wait, he's asking me questions. I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, this is when our draft meeting started. Dating. No, it was.
All right, so there you go. Just a couple of quick snippet from John Schneider. You can go to CascadiaSports.net, more information, and also go to Mazvita Maraire, my YouTube. Feel free to sign up. But look, stay here. All right, coming up next, we got another show coming up, and don't forget to get to the Tacoma Dome. So that's it. We'll see you next. There it is, hosted at Clean Greens Living. Should know that by now. Brianni Scott and Christina Church. All right, for Seattle Sports Weekly, I'm Mazvita Maraire. This is Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Good job, D Money. Thank you to Pat McCarthy. We'll see you all next week.